actually gonna put this over here so I can be out of the view. Yeah, I need to put that in the middle.
How many times have you had? You might be the most. You're like 4 or 5, aren't you?
I'm 3.
3? Okay, all right.
Are you taking notes just to make sure we don't misquote you?
This is what the managers do.
All right. Hey, folks, it's the 3 guys from Pittsboro. We're back, and we're at Marcel's and Eric's because who told you to do an agenda?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. So we got an agenda, of course, and we got a guest this time around. It's not just going to be the 3 of us. We got the town manager here, and we only have him for 30 minutes. So I guess we all have to talk quick.
Yeah.
Lee.
All right. Lee, you want to kick this off with the agenda?
Well, do I start off with like what the hottest story is right now, or do I start off with like town manager stuff?
I got a really hot story.
Is this about Belichick and his girlfriend?
No. I entered the drawing for a year's supply
is on
of
here.
girls.
That
Oh,
is
it is?
on
Okay,
here.
then we'll wait.
No. We can talk about it right now.
Okay.
Because Penny is pissed. We were in that drawing too.
For what?
A year's
Girl Scout
supply of
cookies
Girl
for a
Scout
year.
cookies.
All right.
You got
Your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Probably the one with peanut butter and chocolate.
All right.
My favorite, you're not allowed to say anything. They changed the name because
Oh.
it's racist.
Not Samoa's.
Samoa?
But they're not called. They're called Caramel Delight. You're not allowed to call them.
You know what? When you get to a certain age, you really don't care. So if you want to call it Samoans, that's fine. Well, you can't
But-
because
Have you
you're
ever seen Samoans?
Yes,
Those are big people.
they are big people.
I got 5 cases of Thin Mints coming. 24 boxes.
5 cases.
24 boxes to a case, 120.
Hey, can I ask what your name is? Sandra. All right, folks, we got Sandra here. I don't know if she wants to be on the
YouTube, TikTok.
Yeah.
YouTube, TikTok. Are you a TikTok influencer? She is not a TikTok influencer. This may be your big chance, or it may not be. Why don't you start from there?
I'll go ahead.
I will have 2 slices of pizza, pepperoni and garlic, house salad with blue cheese dressing.
Do I have to do the Italian? Because I've done the
Yeah,
Italian.
do the
You can
Italian.
do whatever you want.
8-inch Italian with chips, please.
Any dipping sauce for your chips, sir?
You don't want dipping sauce?
Of course I do.
What's your favorite dipping sauce?
I like to dip my chips in ranch.
All right, ranch, please.
And if you don't like it, you can give it to her.
Grilled chicken Caesar salad.
Grilled chicken Caesar salad. Do you want that small?
Thank you.
All right. You know what? I'll have 2 slices of pepperoni pizza. And you said with garlic?
With garlic.
With garlic.
Do you also want garlic salad?
Actually, do you do a small Greek salad?
You can do a small.
Let's do a small Greek salad.
Wow, this is picky.
No, I'm asking because you know what? Every place you go in Greece, always get a Greek salad.
Imagine that.
In Greece.
In
Do you
Greece.
like Greek
I heard they have
dressing?
pasta in Italy.
Yeah, they do.
Greek dressing?
I've been
Yes,
there.
please. Yes.
I can take as many as you like.
All right.
Have y'all been to Italy and done like the Florentine steak?
No.
What?
I've been to Italy, but not that state.
What a waste of money.
Why is that?
You're getting like an $80 or $100 steak, and then you can't eat it all. And I didn't think it was that good. It wasn't tender. I kind of was like, we just wasted a bunch of
European
money.
steak is second rate.
Yes, I agree.
That's because they put a tariff on American steak.
This American beef ain't got no tariff.
Hey, when we went to Italy in Venice, we actually went to a farmer's market, or it might have been Venice or Florence. No, it wasn't Venice, either Florence or Rome, and they actually had a farmer's market where they imported American meat and had barbecue and hamburgers and was it strips of meat.
All right, well, we're going back to the cookies.
Okay.
So everywhere, you go in front of Walmart, Lowe's, whatever, you get Havoc, I guess. is
Yeah,
where you
I
buy it.
paid for my cookies
So,
in front of Havoc.
we-
That's the lucky brewery.
As many entries as Penny had, she should have won. And then when I came home and told her that you won, she lost her mind.
Oh, so you won the life.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Wait a
It was
minute, wait a
real
minute.
thing.
Lifetime?
No, 1 year.
1 year.
1 year supply.
But I'm actually haggling with them right now.
You don't haggle with a Girl Scout.
Wait, hang on. If it's a year's supply, it's 120 boxes. That's not a year's supply.
That's
Once
what,
you
like 3
open the
months?
box, that's a day.
That's a 3-month supply.
Well,
6
120
months.
days, you know.
120 boxes. Wow.
I mean,
So they came out. So I guess they had to come out with different cookies or whatever. There's one that we got this last go around. It looks like a candy piece of French toast. Have you seen that one?
What's that called?
And I think it's called French toast.
Yeah.
But it's a French toast cookie.
All right.
It's a damn good cookie.
No. All I get is Thin Mints. Put them in the
Thin
freezer.
Mints are good. They're kind of ironically named though, aren't they?
Don't you feel like your IQ just dropped like several
that's what
points
this whole-
listening to these guys?
That's what this whole show is about.
I mean, Girl Scout cookies are great.
Yeah.
I always feel sorry for the Boy Scouts trying to slip around selling
Popcorn.
popcorn.
Popcorn
I mean,
does not. It's not. It doesn't compare to
It's
cookies.
not the same.
It's
And I
not the
feel
same.
bad for them.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Hey, let's talk about some town manager stuff. Favorite experience or best experience you had so far? Because you've been on the job what, 3 years?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
all right.
2 years. Yeah.
2 years.
Probably I would say the merger agreement.
With Tri-Water?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tri River.
Oh, Tri-River.
I mean, that was a huge agreement that took a lot of time and effort from both sides, and so far they've been great partners. That will likely continue. But to go from a town that had all of this growth pressure with zero hope for water and sewer solution to then get that done within a year's time that's paramount. And without it, we'd be sitting here having the same conversation that Pittsboro's been having for the last 15, 20 years.
And you know, it's not just Pittsboro. It's like I do stuff in 18 different counties. It is every municipality is suffering the same thing. It's like here we are, you know, in the 21st century, and it's still sewer. It's still about wastewater. Like sewer is growth. Like people talk about high-speed internet or jobs or public transportation, but it comes down to sewer still. It's the biggest thing.
So without it, you don't get jobs, you don't get houses, you don't get retail, you don't get a Target that people want, you don't get
Right.
shopping experiences.
You don't get Girl Scout cookies?
It's harder to get rid of the Girl Scouts.
Are you reselling those Girl Scout cookies?
No, I'm eating the Girl Scout
No, you're
cookies.
giving them to friends. You're giving some to
I
friends.
will definitely give 2 or 3 boxes away. I think the picture of me laying in the boxes.
No,
Oh, yeah.
please don't.
Well, the question is,
That'll get me awful.
what donation is he going to make to the Girl Scouts
Yes.
for this
Right.
year's supply?
I donated the 5 boxes I just bought.
Hey, this might embarrass him a little bit, and it might be a little bit like,
Risque.
well, on PC.
Oh,
or
look,
whatever.
he's taking
He's
notes.
gonna take notes or whatever. But I've been doing this for a while, and it used to be a situation where back in the old days you could go in and sit down with a town manager, and you know, and it was a little informal. And then there was like this 5 years of like Nazi crap where there was a meeting for a meeting for a meeting for a meeting, and they intentionally like made it so difficult. What I really take pride, well, you should be very proud of, is the fact that you guys are accessible once again, and that is hugely important. You can't get anything done if planning, the town manager, and the other players that be aren't accessible, and the town is accessible, which I think is a huge testament to what you're doing.
Great, good to hear.
Can you talk about your interview process? Maybe tell us what was the best question they asked you, or did they ask you one of those, hey, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Or even the worst question, and you don't have to tell us who asked that question.
Well, I want to get back to the merger real quick.
Sure.
Because it wasn't just about growth, it's also, you know, we did get the 5% rate reduction across the board, which I think is huge. And then you have these examples of folks who, they just wanted to like add a bedroom to their home, just so they could move their mother-in-law in or whatever it was.
ADU?
And then to,
Yep.
you know, have sewer capacity so we could allow that type of growth or that type of expansion of other existing properties. Another huge benefit. So the interview was, I've weirdly enough done a lot of them. And I would say that was probably one of the more fun interviews that I had. And even the previous mayor, Cindy, was kind of giving me some crap because I was all serious. And finally, I made a joke and everybody got laughing. And she was like, "There's that smile I've heard about." And I was like, "Okay." So obviously, I started this interview out poorly, and so we need to get better. But it was a
Do you
good
remember
process.
what the joke was?
I don't. I was probably more nervous than I probably needed to be, but it was a good time.
At what point did you know, hey, I've got this, or at what point did your gut say, hey, I've got this job?
You don't usually have that moment.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I mean, you feel good about an interview, but at the end of the day, when they're going through that process, they'll cut 50 applicants down to 5 or 10. And at that point, you're qualified, and you know you're qualified. But then it's, does your personality mesh with the personalities on the board? And so at that point, it's really just them kind of sizing you up to see if you have what it takes and if you can fit in with the community and the staff and the elected officials.
You couldn't have been unaware of the growth that's on the horizon or whatever. Is that once you got your foot in the door, was it more than you expected? It met your expectations, or is it still?
I would say the growth, I'd say the future growth that we're looking at was more than I thought, but I expected more of it to have already happened.
Right, yeah, that's usually how it goes too. Yeah.
I think 12 years ago, I was in a class at UNC, and we came to Pittsboro as a field trip to visit the community college, and then we met with I don't remember, 2 managers ago, Brian Grusbeck, I think.
Oh yeah,
And so
yeah, he was a
yeah.
Rotarian.
He made a presentation on what Chatham Park was, and then so when I came to do my drive around to just check out the town before I interviewed, I was like, where is it?
Where's that gonna go?
Where is Chatham Park? So I was a little surprised that more hadn't been built in that 12-year period. Which also is a benefit because then myself and the current board, we have a little bit more influence over how it looks and what happens. So that's always fun.
So you probably was right at, I think, beginning, what was the reaction when people heard that Disney was coming to Pittsboro? Because we talked about this previously. I was down in Charlotte, and there's people asking me, hey, Disney's coming to Pittsboro? Are you going to get to eat breakfast with Minnie? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I think we immediately looked up the one that they did in Florida,
Celebration.
Right. And we had heard good things and bad.
Right.
Good things about how it was designed and how it turned out. Bad things in the process from the start to finish. But I think some of that was due to the recession in 08. But when you hear a big name like Disney, right, you also think of Coca-Cola and these other large corporations. And what a huge opportunity to have a company with that type of pull and approach to come to the small town of Pittsboro. I mean, the other locations, Palm Springs, California.
Yeah.
So, because the mayor made a joke, Palm Springs and Pittsboro, of course.
Of course, natural.
And so they've been good to work with so far. And so we've gotten their first, their phase 1 plans. So that's available to the public to take a look at if they want to. And I think they go in front of the board in June for preliminary plat. Planning board in May.
Yeah.
You were at the YMCA grand opening. How did that all work out for you guys?
I mean, the YMCA is a huge asset, and thanks to Chatham Park for making that donation and making that possible. To go from the tiny YMCA that we had to this, to the first COVID designed or post-COVID designed YMCA in the country, is pretty remarkable. And to have 2 pools that are public, when I think right now the only pools that we have were private prior to. I mean, it's going to be a great asset for the community, and I think their membership has tripled since it opened.
I believe that.
So obviously, the community sees it as the asset that it is, and they're looking forward to being a part of it.
It's a great program. I mean, the Y helped me immensely when I was a kid. Saratoga, New York, but it was still it kept us out of the snow, kept us out of trouble. It's
You go there after school. We used to go there to play basketball.
Yep.
Yeah, we went to the Asheboro YMCA every day after school for probably a couple years. Right when racquetball had just become a thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, now it's pickleball.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing we need from you is to put the heat on them to put an indoor pool in.
The YMCA?
Yeah.
Well, supposedly, and I'm going to call Tim Smith out, but supposedly Tim at some point is going to donate the money necessary to cover one of the pools. So it's going to be one of those sliding dome things.
Yeah, but we need a place where you can have swim meets year round.
Talking about what's in Greensboro?
Well, what's in Greensboro, what's in Cary, what's in every major
Don't
town.
old people argue about how you do your laps in a pool all the time? Isn't that a
Not
thing?
when it's full of 12-year-olds. And year-round swimming is a massive sport.
Yeah.
You gotta have an indoor pool, and you talk about a thing that will bring well-heeled parents into town to spend their money. It's an indoor pool, and it's massive amounts of them.
All right, so are you calling out Tim Smith on this one?
He'll do it. I mean, Tim, in my 2 years working with him, he's stood by everything he said. So I have no doubt that'll happen once. I think it was they were needing to get their membership up to a certain point.
Well, that outdoor covered basketball court area is pretty neat too,
Yeah,
because
it
you're outside the elements, but you're still outside. That's a thing. And you mentioned swimming. I talked with them, and they were talking about working out arrangements with Northwood and Seafort so that they could go out there and practice. I don't know if they're going to practice when it's snowing, but
We got Disney and of course Chatham Park. What about your relationship with UNC? I know on the planning board we're looking at that corridor between Chapel Hill and Pittsboro. Do you think UNC Hospital and Medical is going to continue to make progress in the Pittsboro area? Do you think Pittsboro could be develop into more of a medical base for the UNC system?
I surely hope so.
Right,
And
we want that, don't we?
They've got, is it 50 acres on Chatham Parkway?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they've gotten their grading permit, I believe, or we're working through it with, I think Teresa's handling that in the planning department. But I know the road section going from Chatham Park into the Womble piece, the northern road is going to serve the hospital, and that was in TRC this week.
How do you feel about it? Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
as long as they have an indoor pool.
Well, at my age, and you're getting colonoscopy every 5 years, I don't want to have to drive to Pinehurst.
All right.
So, things change.
Your
Is
wife
that every
thinks you're
year?
always a
What
pain
year
in
does
the.
it come every year?
Huh?
I did my tour of duty last year. Is it every year?
No, it's
No,
every
no.
5 years.
That's only your doctor wanting to do that to you every year.
I don't do every year. I did my first.
I mean, I don't want to start rumors, but I think I know from an economic development standpoint, what a lot of people are asking questions is, where's this children's hospital going? That the General Assembly assigned, what, $500 million to?
Right.
580 million? Like, where is that going to go?
Go here.
I mean,
Well,
Chatham County would be an amazing spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're on the planning board now. I remember I was on the planning board back when they were referring that as the health highway, where you're going to have all that kind of stuff. And I think the CCC building up there is geared towards that kind of stuff if they need to train health
But
support
again,
folks.
what do you think the issue is in that corridor? Sewer.
Sewer.
It's still the issue. And Pittsboro has no plans of crossing the Rubicon, the Hall River anytime
No.
soon, right?
All getting north?
Yeah.
Well, there's some other projects that are on that 15501 corridor going north of Mosaic. And I think as those projects come in, sewer will just naturally be
Right.
connected up. And
Yep.
one that you'll see, I'm forgetting the name of it now, but you know where the landscape place was that went out of business recently? It's
Poultry Villa? Yeah.
it's like that whole area going up to that next road.
Yeah.
That plan will be in hopefully next couple of months for review.
But the ETJ goes to the Hall River. You guys don't see yourselves crossing the Hall River anytime soon.
It'll probably be a while.
Right. And then Chapel Hill has pretty much said that they're not crossing the county line.
Well,
anytime soon.
the Walmart right there on the county line is smaller than the Walmart originally planned, and the parking area, everything, and they were supposed to have a gas station, but if you noticed,
There is a
that
giant
fence-
subdivision going in across from Southern Village, though.
Oh, is there? Okay.
They're clearing the land right now.
And that mural of Dean Smith that was on the
gone.
corner, it's gone. I got a picture of it last week, and it's gone. You can actually see the cinder blocks out there with Dean all disassembled. So, all right. Before we go on, I know you gotta leave in 10 minutes, so we're gonna keep running even
Yeah,
though
go
you're
with
eating.
Go with the
Well,
John
the
questions.
downtown parking situation we're not allowed to. Did he say don't talk about this?
No, you're good.
Well, I mean, we're on the advisory council. I mean, one of the things that and Gene and Greg and I have brought up before is, according to the studies, there's not a shortage of parking in Pittsboro.
there's not.
It's a distribution and awareness problem, right?
Correct.
And we're working on that with signage.
Yes, and we just added a parking lot on Thompson across
Yeah,
the street
exactly.
from the community
Right,
house. Now that's 30 or 40 spaces.
That's every bit. Yeah.
And Public Works is going to be grading that either, I want to say next week,
I mean,
to
one
try
of
to
the
get
sad
some more
things is
space.
that we've just gotten spoiled in Pittsboro. People are used to pulling up in front, and now that you have more people in here, you don't go to downtown Raleigh and expect to pull up in front of a building or anything.
Are you comparing us to downtown Raleigh?
What I'm saying is, with progress and change and growth, you're going to. I mean, when you go to Hillsborough or Apex, you park at the parking lot and you walk to where you need to go. But we're a little bit spoiled here in Pittsboro. We don't
Now, are
always
those
do that.
30 spots free?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's more than 30 spots. He doesn't just have 30 spots. It's 30
No, but that
extra
one,
spots.
that
He's
one
doing 30
particular-
extra.
Oh, 30 extra spots.
And my philosophy on public parking is that it should be free.
All
Now,
right.
if we build a parking deck one day as a public entity, even if it's a public-private partnership, likely we'd have to charge something for
Right.
improvement. But no, we'll do whatever we can to keep parking free as long as we can.
Is it illegal to do a U-turn and back into a space in downtown Pittsboro? Is that illegal?
No comment.
Why, who have you seen do that? Or is that
Oh,
how you park?
No, I don't. No, I don't park. As a
He
business
parks on
owner
the
in
street all
downtown,
the
I
time.
park in the alleyway because there's no way that is prime real estate. We don't take that away from patrons or possible customers. I hate it when I see a business owner or a worker park in downtown. That's taking a space away from a
I'm
potential
not
customer.
calling her out. You know who
I'm not
talking
calling
about.
anybody out. We don't name names here.
What
That's a
you- what-
problem in every downtown I've ever
Right,
worked in.
it is.
Well,
It is.
one thing that has gone in is
Why don't
right
you just
across,
put visitor on each spot?
right across the street here. The chains you put up, beautiful, and they're working.
They are working.
They are working.
On my way down here, I saw somebody walk the crosswalk, which was nice.
Well, I had a couple of beers and sat in front of the mod and just watched. And people are going down. And now they're crossing at the end of the chain, not at the crosswalk.
Yep.
But at least they're getting towards the
We're
crosswalk.
making progress.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
The funniest thing I saw was a guy goes to step over the chain, and his wife snaps at him.
Ah.
Hold
Points
on.
down at the sign.
Oh,
No, you're fine. Points down at the sign that we painted on the sidewalk, and just gave him the third degree, and he put his head down and started walking towards the crosswalk. So I was like, well, at least it's working a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But in the same thread of parking, the county just approved the ILA for the redevelopment analysis, and it'll be on the agenda.
Thank you.
For the Pittsboro board in May, and that's looking at a contract with Bolton and Meek and 3 other consultants to look at the property in downtown that the county owns, the property on East Street, West Street that the county owns, and then our parcel on Salisbury to do a market analysis of highest and best use. And so we have told them initially that our interest is we probably need a parking deck or 2 in terms of planning long term. We'd love to see.
I'll get that. No, you just keep talking. 'cause we're
Love to
gonna
see,
talk-
let's see, a hotel downtown would be fantastic. Some type of performing arts center, and then some type of
My Italian
public,
looks a lot like a turkey.
public space, public square.
Usually it's that salami.
Are you kidding?
Is your Italian
Oh,
not
I'm not
right?
kidding.
Oh, okay.
Because I order Italian every restaurant I go to, so I know I ordered an Italian.
Yes, you
And
did.
it's on tape.
It's on
What is
on
that?
video.
Is that a club? It looks like a club.
It's a very pale Italian.
Turkey club.
Yeah, do you want me to take it?
Yeah,
Please,
go
yes.
take it back. Pick off the food. Make sure you have gloves on, and you're fine.
You want to stop this?
Yeah, we can
Then we'll eat.
Sorry.
And
It's okay.